unable to keep them together in these same schools. And so we watched them in brutal solidarity burning the huts of a poor village, but we realized that they would hardly live on the same block in Chicago. I could not be silent. In the face of such cruel manipulation of the poor, my third reason moves to an even deeper level of awareness. It grows out of my experience in the ghettos of the North. I have walked among these desperate, rejected, and angry men. I have told them that Molotov cocktails and rifles would not solve their problem. I have tried to offer them my deepest compassion while maintaining my conviction that social change comes most meaningfully through nonviolent action. But they ask, and rightly so, what about Vietnam? They ask, if our own nation wasn't using massive doses of violence to solve its problems and bring about the changes it wanted, their question hit home. And I knew that I could never again raise my voice against the violence of the oppressed in the ghettos without having first spoken clearly to the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. For the sake of those boys, for the sake of this government, for the sake of the hundreds of thousands trembling under our violence, I cannot be silent. For those who ask the question, aren't you a civil rights leader and mean to exclude me from the movement for peace? I have this further answer. In 1957, when a group of us formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, we chose as our motto, save the soul of America. We were convicted that we could not limit our vision to certain rights for black people, but instead affirm the conviction that America would never be free or saved from itself until the descendants of its slaves were loosely completely from the shackles they still wear. In a way, we were agreeing with Langston Hughes, that black bard of Harlem who had written, oh yes, I say it plain, America never wants America to me. I swear this oath, America will be. Now, it should be incandescently clear that no one who has any concern for the integrity of life of America today can ignore the present war. And there's still a present war, just so we're all clear. Yeah. If America's soul becomes totally poisoned, part of the autopsy we must read, Vietnam. It can never be saved so long as it destroys the deepest hopes of the men the world over. Those of us who are determined that America will be are led down the path of protest and dissent, working for the health of our land. Another burden of responsibility was placed upon me in 1954. I cannot forget that the Nobel Peace Prize was also commissioned to work harder than ever, the brotherhood of man. This is a calling that takes me beyond the national allegiances to live with the meaning of my commitment to the ministry of Jesus Christ. To me, the ministry is the making of peace. So obvious that I sometimes marvel at those who ask me, why am I speaking against the war? It could be that they do not know that the good news is meant for all men, for communists and capitalists, for their children and ours, for black and white, for revolutionary and conservative. Have they forgotten that my ministry is in obedience to the one who loved his enemies so close that he died? What then can I say to Vietnam, or to Castro, or to Mao, as faithful minister of this one? Can I threaten them with death, or must I not share with them my life? I share with all men the calling to be excited of the living God, beyond the calling of race, or nation, or creed, in this vocation of sonship and brotherhood. I believe that the Father is deeply concerned, especially for the suffering of his helpless and outcast children. I come tonight to speak for them. This I believe to be the privilege and the burden of all of us, who deem ourselves bound by allegiances and loyalties which are broader and deeper than nationalism, and which go beyond our nation's self-defined goals and positions. We are called to speak for the weak, for the voiceless, for the victims of our nation, for those they call enemy. No document can take these humans any less than our brothers, can make these humans any less than our brothers. As I ponder the madness of Vietnam, I search within myself for ways to understand and respond in compassion. My mind goes constantly to the people of that peninsula. I speak now not of each front, not of Juanita in Saigon, but simply of the people who have been living under the course of war for almost 3 continuous decades now. There will be no meaningful solutions there until we come to know them and hear their broken cries. We must see America as strange liberators. The Vietnamese people proclaimed their own independence in 1945. After a combined French and Japanese occupation. And before the Communist Revolution in China, they were led by Ho Chi Minh. Even though they quoted the American Declaration of Independence in their own document of freedom, we refused to recognize them. Instead, we decided to support France in its request of her former colonies. Our government felt that the war in Vietnam, people were not ready for the independence, and we again fell victim to the deadly Western arrogance